Okay, this video today is going to be how to wax the hull of the boat. And what I have here is a variable speed buffer, and I have a buffing pad. These come in different assortments, different cutting levels, and the boat is new, so I'm using the black, which is very fine. And I'm using a Maguiars pure wax. It's a Canova blend. Now, like I said, the boat is new, so I don't need any compounds or compound and wax combination. I'm just going to use a pure wax. And Maguiars is a good brand. You know, it's inexpensive. I think I paid $8 or $9 for this. You could spend as much as you want on wax. There's silicone waxes and stuff like that, so whatever your budget dictates is what you use, but this is good enough. I use the boat 50 to 100 times a year, so I wax it maybe 3 times a year. And right now the boat is down for some mechanical work on the trolling motor, so I'm gonna finish waxing a section that I didn't do yet, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so we're gonna do this section here about midship back, and the boat's been sitting for a couple of weeks now. So it was washed when I parked it, but you did get some residue from the air and from the water. A wet cloth and get the surface prepared for waxing. Now there's a couple of scuff marks here. I wax it, trying to wax it 2 or 3 times a year to keep a good finish on it, especially down by the water line. Okay, so it's all wiped down, and I take it off by hand. I wipe, after it dries, I wipe it off by hand with a rag. And then I have a lamb's wool that, after I take it off by hand, I'll hit it with the lamb's wool, and that gives you the super shine that you're looking for. So I moistened this a little bit because I used it already a couple of times, so I moistened it a little bit. And then put your wax, just a little bit on there, and then I just take and dab it on the area that you're going to buff. It spreads it out a little bit, and it doesn't sling. You don't want it to sling all over the place. So then you take your buffer and you start it on low speed. I usually work it in on low speed. And then I'll increase the speed once it's worked in. So you're gonna have a little noise here. I'll go up to number 3. And that's basically it. I'll let this dry. I'll continue on down. I'm going to do most of this side here. I'll continue on down, and then I'll let everything dry. I'll come back with a rag and I'll pick you up at that time. Okay, so we put the wax on with the buffer and we let it dry. Now that wax comes off relatively easy, so I don't worry about how long I leave it on for. But if your finish isn't that great and the wax you're using is kind of hard to get off, you might want to take it off once it dries. So this is dried up and we're going to take it off with the rag. Like I said, it comes off pretty easy. Around these letters here I did it by hand because the buffing wheel gets caught up in there and it's easier just to do it by hand. So you can see it's coming right off. Now there's a pretty good luster, but we're going to use the lamb wool once I check the finish. If there's a couple of blemishes, I'll hit it again, but for the most part it looks pretty good. Okay, now we got it all wiped off with the hand towel, and I'm going to use synthetic lamb's wool on the buffer, and I'm going to use it at a high rate of speed. And what you want to do is you want to keep it moving. You don't want to stop it in any one location because you could burn the fiberglass. So you want to keep it moving all the time, and you don't have to put a lot of pressure. Just keep it so it's making contact, and I'll give you a demonstration on doing that. Now I see there's a couple of little scratches, and here's a little scratch here. So next time I go to wax it, I'll take and wet sand some of these down. I'll do a little video on how to clean up some minor scratches on the boat. But okay, I'm going to give you a little demonstration on how I buff it out. And that's about it. I'm fighting this tarp here a little bit, but we'll get some light over here. And that's the finish you get. Nice shiny finish. So just looking at it from back here, you can see the mirror finish to it. Now the real test is the reflection on something. And I'm using the wax container, so if you can see that reflection, you know, that's a real good shine. Okay, so that's the way I found the easiest way to put wax on and take wax off, and it really works. Okay, thanks for watching. Give it a try.